Alright, come with my boy. Introduce yourself. Zane. It's been 2 years now. I haven't made this for a while, right? The funny thing is that I just couldn't believe that me and you were in the same campus. Same uni, but different campuses. But I think, how long has it been?
2 years.
2 years.
Something like that, yeah. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. And, I met Zane through Cert 4 career service work. And then you started to drift away to business course, to law.
Business into law, yeah.
How's that journey?
It was alright, man.
It's alright?
The bachelor's was a bit of a change, but it was alright.
Yeah, so that's the main focus on the video because today is we're on the 12th week. We're both in the first years of our course, of our degree. You're doing law degree. I'm doing social work degree. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm not sure about his course. So the video is more about like transition from Tafe to university. Now, definitely, let's just start with the easy one. What do you miss about Tafe?
Probably easiness.
The easiness, right? Resubmission.
Yeah, all that. The flexibility.
The flexibility.
Failure.
Were you like a lot happier when you Cert 4 or diploma or?
I wouldn't say happier because it felt pretty unfulfilling to do it.
Unfulfilling.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It was easy, so it was more cruisy. But
it's a lot more cruisy.
So it wasn't satisfying, so I felt really like I should be working doing something more. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too easy. Yeah.
But now you just transitioned to university. How's that easy level gone from?
The easy level's gone. There's no easy level. It's just hard. It's brutal.
Yeah, definitely.
You wake up, you hate your life.
Yeah.
I hope it pays off in the end. That's the main part.
I just could not believe he texted me like 2 weeks, a week and a half, just non-stop coming to library. For me, just the habit of going library and you don't have a life, literally.
Yeah.
When you have Tafe, you have a life. You have, you and your boys, you always have like pancake parlors, or you have time. You have time to do like shisha or or whatever you want. Like, and now if you want to do that sort of stuff, you can't be bothered, man. Like it's not like the old days anymore. Like you don't have the energy. Like you're always focused on the assessment piling up. Especially it goes crazy. It goes one by one by one by one by one.
Yeah, that's it.
And it gets really challenging. And definitely is. So so the transition definitely, the intensity definitely kicks in.
The routines are a lot different, man. I wanted to add another point. It's also harder to make friends as well.
Oh,
Tafe was
man.
easy, man. But I haven't made one friend.
But the thing about the TAFE, it's more of a class structure based. Like instead of now we go into tutorial lectures where we don't even recognize them at all. Someone's going to open the door, no, she doesn't though. As long as we're talking in their nose. We just bag in the room, but just pinch 15 minutes of the time, and that's about it. So, how did university change you?
A lot more isolated. Work focused. Nothing else. No games. No movies. None of that. Just work.
Nah, not at all.
Work and study. That's all.
Work and study. Like to be honest, when I met Zamo, like even today, I wasn't even happy. Like university doesn't get you happy at all. Unlike Tafe, like Tafe really gets you happy, gets you really moody. The teacher always like very interactive, like getting into the zone, and that's definitely it. The impact of university doesn't get us happy anymore. Like I still remember like back in the days, like you guys were laughing your head off every single lunchtime.
It was more easy to joke around.
Yeah, nowadays it's so full on. I can't joke around anymore. I definitely learned a lot. Yep. Like we try to definitely wrap the video up because someone tried to walk in. What do you like the most about university?
What I like most?
Yeah.
Just the feeling that I'm accomplishing something, getting to a certain goal.
Especially when you submit that assessment, right? just clicking that button of submitting all that hard work is like the fulfilling.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You feel like you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
With Tafe, I've never felt that. I felt like I
Nah.
was just in a course doing just paper because that's what it pretty much was. Yeah.
Geez, that's how it is, but like, um, what do you hate about university?
What do I hate? Isolation again. I hate just the fact that it's a lot more miserable, a lot more structured. Or I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, the structure, but just the fact that it's so like straightforward in a weird way. It's hard to explain it, but it's like it's boring, basically.
It's boring.
Boring as fuck.
But at least, so your course is pretty. So what I'm hearing is that your course is more like you kind of know what you're doing, you kind of know the assessment and everything. You just go through all the studies and everything.
There's a lot of reading, a lot to understand, really long lectures. The teachers are very mundane, so
Yeah. The biggest thing I hate about my course is that as a person who comes from Cert 4 and diploma, who study the same, subjects and everything, like, the entry level of the subjects, the beginner stage of going to the workforce, and me now going to a bachelor is like, it's all theory based, and obviously most of this stuff are not, it's not relative to the work. It's more of like you do, like, yes, I get it. Like you go through like weeks and a half every day. You go through like journals after journals, and you do a lot of definitely reference. My biggest which I don't. I guess my biggest problem when I transition from TAFE to university is opinion.
Yeah.
Like I'm so used to writing opinions, like,
Yeah,
and you don't back your evidence up like when you take. But now, like I remember my first assessment, it was 25% work. I failed that assessment because I used too much opinion. I didn't use proper Harvard referencing.
All that referencing is very essential. Yeah.
And I'm not relating back to the our lectures or our tutorial or and the book. So basically, the question is like, what made you chose social work? And I definitely
question.
Yeah, like what brought you here, and I failed that one because yeah, I didn't use anything out of the book or
That's
anything,
so stupid.
and I had 27% out of 100.
That's dumb.
That was the biggest mistake I ever learnt. And also, what I hate about the university, like I said, you can't write opinions. Even if you do write opinions, you need evidence backup. Now, the thing about my course is that all these opinions, they are not. Everyone knows about it, and nobody writes a journal or the academic source because it's like, everyone knows. Unlike law, law definitely everyone has to write about it. It always changes, new laws and everything.
And stuff, yeah.
And
evolving.
the biggest hate about my course is that I have to study above and beyond. When I mean by above and beyond is I have to do things out of my way just to get a pass. But when I mean by that is what I've been learned in lectures and tutorial is just 5% of the content. And you have to unfold 95% on your own. Is that your fault?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. 100%.
Oh my gosh, I hated it, man. And it felt like you spend that much money getting 5% of the content.
True.
You get what I mean? Like,
100%, yeah.
it's like, man, I'm paying you guys, right? And I'm only learning 5%. You want me, or actually none at all. Actually, none at all. I do come across with some of them are none at all. Currently, my classmates are killing themselves because they haven't studied at all. Like, they haven't learned at all, but they learn about the organizations, but they're going really, really diving deep, like some of the stuff. That is definitely my biggest mistakes on. I underestimate the assessment question. The way how to structure it. So you agree with that as well?
Yeah, it's a lot more challenging. That's all that other shit.
Oh man, that I never thought university was like that. I thought university was like it's a bit more logical. Like I knew there was a lot of theory, but I did not know it was this like 5% or knowing nothing. Like those contents that you've learnt the most, they give you the hardest assessment. Those are the toughest ones. But the ones that give you 5% content, like you wouldn't learn anything. Like you wouldn't do anything. Like you have to go out your own and go through different sort of libraries. You go above and beyond. Like I go to RMIT library. I have to go to my local library. I have to find out my way. Like it's I'm hustling, you know.
You gotta work hard, man. That's it. That's a big change, isn't it, Tafe?
It's a huge
And
change.
yeah.
I'm admiring this guy because he's doing 4 units, and I'm saying to him like, man, 4 units in my course, everyone's crying already. 4 units, this guy is still alright, still listening to music, you know.
So work hard, man. That's how it pays off, I guess.
That's it.
I'll be
That's it.
hoping, yeah, to do that.
Now, let's just say you've experienced this. What if we go back 3 years before? Would you still choose the university route? Like
Yeah.
this intensity.
It was always the goal, yeah. That was always my goal to go here.
But that intensity that kills you really, really hard. That all that assessment, powering through and assessment, you know, everything.
Definitely. I had to take it on if I wanted to achieve something. I knew that from the start. So unless I wanted to have a useless degree or have no job, then yeah, I knew I had to work
It's
hard
just
for
one
it.
of those moments, yeah. It's just like, have you ever thought of yourself quitting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
something. I must admit, like when I was in tape, I'm like, meh. But when you're in university, man, you want to quit.
I thought about quitting, but I think
I thought about quitting.
the payoff.
The payoff.
Yeah.
Oh man, the quitting part really gets me because I started to question myself. Do I deserve to be this tortured? You get it? Like.
Yeah. I definitely feel it. I feel it 100%.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's the. Yeah. Any more questions before we end it? Or.
Sort of all I can think of, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much what we've been of. Like, you know, what do you like about university? We're gonna name it. Transition. I reckon the transition part. I just wish there's a lot more logical into it. But I guess you know, there's a reason why university is hard. University is not designed for everyone to get in. You know, back in the days, university is for upper class and middle class, not for dumb class.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's exactly right.
Dumb class, you know.
Daniel.
But I truly do appreciate they give us a second chance. You know, especially in this current world where they're giving second chances, even though you're lower class or you know, we still had, you know, when we do Cert 4, some of them just literally arrived in Australia,
Yeah.
limited English, and give them a chance.
That's a really good part. Yeah, we all got our,
It's just amazing.
opportunities, and we all got the chance to actually make it somewhere.
Yeah.
That's something you gotta be grateful for.
That's all. You're like, you know, I'm amazed to see you after 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Yeah.
2 years now, man. Like, I still remember the video that we made is Bali 9.
Yeah, that was good.
Bali 9, and then we had the
I didn't know what was happening.
Dangerous Suburbs.
Yeah, that was a good one. They got
Yeah.
a lot of views, man.
They had a lot of views.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. Anyways, I better shut the video. I'm pretty sure people out there is pretty waiting.
Yeah.
But this is maybe the last time I'm gonna see Zane.